Hello, in this CSS crash course video, we're going to be looking at advanced colors. So now we've just looked at simple sort of RGB colors or actually being able to specify, say, a color name like black, gray, because CSS has a few built-in color names as well. It actually has quite a few. Hexadecimal is always best to ensure maximum compatibility. It's a great way of reinforcing what black is, what gray is, that sort of stuff. So when you are developing websites, and especially when you're looking at code that isn't yours, you can literally just start looking at a hexadecimal value and be like, okay, I think it's that color. But some really cool IDEs allow you to sort of hover up the hexadecimal and show you the actual color, which is fantastic. So with advanced colors, there's three different things we're going to be looking at. The first one is alpha. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So what we're going to do is get rid of all this, put a div with an ID of alpha. Ooh, don't know what the hell happened there. Alpha, and inside here I'm just going to put alpha text. So I'm going to save that, go to index.css. I'm going to get rid of all of this text and I'm going to put an asterisk. So everything is just going to be affected by this font size 2em because we're just going to be using text to illustrate the different advanced color techniques, but you could use it with background colors, any sort of thing that has color values associated with it. So what we're going to do is now do hash alpha. So we are saying we want to affect this particular element. Let me zoom in a bit so it's easier to see. And instead of just doing color RGB, we're going to put RGBA, which is red, green, blue, alpha. So if I put values of 255, 0, 0, and I'm going to put 0.2. So the first three values should be pretty obvious. This ranges between 0 and 1, and this is the red value. This is the green value and blue value, each ranging between 0 and 255, aka 256 different increments. Instead of starting at 1 to 256, it starts at 0 to 255. Okay, it's pretty simple stuff. And this is one of those IDs that I was talking about that shows you a representation of what that color looks like. And the final value ranges between 0 and 1, 0 being translucent and 1 being opaque. So we put 0.2, so it's pretty translucent. You can still see the color. So if we save that, go back to our web browser, refresh, as you can see we've got some text that is quite light. And I'm going to show you what would happen if I were to just get rid of this. Actually no, instead of getting rid of it, I'll put 1. So you can see that 1 is fully opaque. Go to put like 0.01. That is very hard to see. Let's do 0.1. Still visible, but as you can see it's getting lighter. If I put 0.6, it should be a lot darker now. If I put something in between, as you can see, it is getting lighter now. So that's alpha. There's something called HSL, which is hue, saturation, and lightness. So what we're going to do is go to here. Let me zoom in. We're going to do another div. It's going to have an ID of HSL, and inside here we're simply going to put HSL text. Now if I save that, go to the index.css file. Now we're going to do hash HSL color HSL open bracket, and these values are the first value. I'll show you something. I'll show you a great little table that I found. So this is the hue. The hue you can essentially think of as the color. The saturation you can think of like different blends of that color, like a light red, a dark red. The value is basically the lightness, how dark or light it is. So what we're going to do first of all is put 78. Then the next value ranges, it is actually a percentage, so we're going to put 100%. So the saturation is 100%. For the lightness we're going to put 40%. Let's see what sort of result we get. So we get HSL, 78 is sort of a greeny colour. We got 100% in terms of this saturation. If I were to put 30%, 40% on the other hand, as you can see, it's got sort of a darker colour. If I were to put 100 and put, let's say, 100 with this, as you can see, it is just too bright. So what you need is, you need to have a value that is a little lower so you can actually see it. And this is just a great way, if you're into hue, saturation, and light values, to be able to use this. And there's one final technique which blends both of these together. Think you can guess what it is. It is div id equals HSLA, so it's hue, saturation, lightness, alpha, and this is HSLA text, not NSLA, H. Save that, go to index.css, and to save some time, I'm actually just going to copy and paste this, put A at the end, and finally put a value that ranges between 0 and 1, so I'll put 0.3. So sorry, I should also put A here, because otherwise it doesn't know what to do with this. It's not a correct method. Now go back to it. As you can see, we've got the same color, but it is now not as opaque. It is pretty translucent. So that's it for advanced colors. Very, very simple stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to post them on my education platform, sonarlearning.co.uk, or in the comments, or feel free to reach out however you feel comfortable. If you have any sort of queries, like I said, feel free to reach out. And as usual, actually, I forgot to mention one thing. There'll be a link in the description as a resource, which will take you to the source code from this video and the source code from every video in this crash course series. And as usual, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.